to my YouTube channel. As you might be able to tell, I'm in a different setup today. I'm actually sat on my leather chair in my living room. And today's video is going to be a reading wrap up for the month of January. Obviously, I know we are 3 or 4 days into February now, and I would have uploaded this on the 1st, but obviously my upload days are Wednesdays, so hence why I'm doing it today. Okay, so I've actually got a coffee here as I'm filming this. So yeah, the first book that I read, well, actually, I read 11 books in the month of January. So the first book, I'm not really sure whether it counts or not. I started in December and then finished it in the first few days of January, so that's why I'm still counting it, because I still finished the book in January. And that is Onyx Storm. So I actually read Fourth Wing in possibly September, maybe October, and then I had like a massive break from the Empyrean trilogy, and I then read a lot of different other books, and then I read Iron Flame in December, but by that point nothing made sense, and I'd forgotten most of the plot because I left it so long between reading the first and the second book. Bits of it did start to come back to me, and I did have to Google a couple of things that I did forget. But after Iron Flame, I thought, right, well, I don't want to make the same mistake, so I then started Onyx Storm. Now, I actually got this book for Christmas, and I think I started it on Boxing Day, or possibly the day after Boxing Day. And then, like I said, I finished it in the first couple of days of January. Now, it is quite a big book, but I really love this book, and I would definitely be reading the whole trilogy again, and I cannot wait for the author to announce her new books. I actually did get, it's just been my birthday a couple of days ago, and I actually did get 2 new books for my birthday by Rebecca Yarros. And I really like her writing style, so I'm hoping that I will like those ones as well. Okay, so then I got the Vampire Diaries books set for Christmas, and I knew straight away that I wanted to read those. But first, I decided to read the Stefan's Diaries series. Now, I actually didn't get these ones for Christmas. I've had these for quite a while. I actually bought them with my first ever wages from my first ever job. And I've already read them all, but that was about 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm pretty sure you can read them either before or after the Vampire Diaries series, but because they take place before, I decided to reread them all before I started the Vampire Diaries books. So I read all 6 of these in the month of January. They're not very big books, well, to me they're not anyway, so it did only take me about a week to read these. I pretty much flew through them, and I really like this series. I mean, it's a lot different, and because I was rereading it, I already pretty much knew everything. I did forget a couple of things, but then obviously I reread them anyways. But it is so different to like the Vampire Diaries show, because I'm a massive fan of Vampire Diaries, and I did watch the TV show before I read the books, which I don't usually like to do, but I never knew that I wanted the books. But there is a lot of differences between the books and the TV series. Some of them are good differences, and then some of them are not, but that's just my opinion on them. I'm really enjoying the Vampire Diaries books though, and I really enjoyed these as well. And I know this is going to be controversial, but I do prefer Stefan over Damon. I like them both, but I prefer Stelena as a couple over Delena, and then I think I prefer Damon like as a man over Stefan, if that makes sense. But yeah, the next books I read was these 6. Okay guys, sorry, I'm just gonna have a sip of my coffee before it goes cold. Now, after the Stefan's Diaries series, I did initially think I was going to go straight on to the Vampire Diaries series, but I thought I wanted a bit of a break in between both the series. So I actually read Homebound by Meredith Trapp. Now, this again is a book I got for Christmas, and I can't remember what day in January I read this, but I think it only took me 2 or 3 days possibly. I do have quite a naturally fast reading speed, obviously. I understand everybody reads at different paces and it's not a race, this is just how fast I naturally read. I really liked this book and I'm trying to get into more cowboy romances. However, I chose it for Christmas, but there's quite a lot of like printing errors in this book. For example, like you can see the blue lines down the page, which I wasn't really keen on. And then I can't remember which page it is, but there's, oh, there it is. There's like a whole page and half of the words are missing, but then this page is like a zigzag, but the words match up. It's very poorly printed. I mean, I don't know who was working in the printing factory that day, to be honest, but I still read it. It was still readable. But then when I went back into the same shop, I had a look and none of the others was like this. So I might repurchase this because I definitely will read it again. So then I moved on to Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. And I absolutely loved this book. I absolutely loved the TV show Gilmore Girls. Me and my mum watched it all. I think we watched it all within about 2 months or so. And I'm pretty sure my mum wants to read this now that I've finished with it. Because it's about Gilmore Girls, but it's also about Lauren Graham's like acting journey and everything that she did to become an actor. And then it went through like the diary entries that she kept while she was filming Gilmore Girls. And I really, really enjoyed this book, and I read it in about 2 days, I think. But like I said, I absolutely loved it. And I know she's got another book out called Someday, Someday Maybe. So I might potentially read that one as well. Okay, so the next book that I read was Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. And this is the second book in the Phantasma duology. They don't really follow on. It's basically 2 sisters, and then Phantasma is about one sister, and then this one is about the other sister. And I read Phantasma, I don't even know, like last year, but like the start of last year, maybe even the year before. But because it doesn't follow on, I didn't mind leaving such a big space in between the 2 books. But I really fancied reading a fantasy romance. And so I read this, and I must say I definitely preferred it to Phantasma. I mean, the story is just so much better, and the plot. I mean, don't get me wrong, I will still definitely reread them both, but personally I preferred this to Phantasma. Now, the last book that I read in January was The Vampire Diaries: The Awakening. Now, this is obviously the first in the Vampire Diaries series. There's 13 books in the set, and yeah, I read this, and I'm currently now on to the 3rd one, but I will talk about that in my February reading wrap up at the end of this month. I have actually already read this one and the 2nd one in the Vampire Diaries series, but after that I haven't read any more. So yeah, I read this, and don't get me wrong, there was quite a lot of differences to the show, but I'm trying to put that out of my mind and just go into these like as a fresh start, if you get what I mean, because if I keep comparing it to the show, I'm not going to like the books as much, but the books are still definitely very, very interesting and entertaining. Okay everyone, so they are all the books I read in January. I'm not sure how long or short this video is going to be. I have now done 3 sit-down videos, one after the other, on my channel. But next week I'm going for a shopping day with my younger sister, so I'm pretty sure I will definitely be buying some books. So I will either I think I'm going to do a book haul of all the books, or I will do what books are new in the bookshop wherever I go to. Either way, it's going to be a book haul of some sort. But if you have any ideas or video suggestions that I could do, please could you put them in the comments, because I mostly do book videos, I am struggling to think of ideas, because because there's only so many sit down videos I can do. But yeah, if you leave your suggestions in the comments, and I'll be, sorry, I don't even know, I had my brain stopped for a moment. It will be much appreciated. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You don't have to, don't feel obliged to, but I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.